Folks, unfortunately, Donald Trump's cognitive collapse is still something that the mainstream media just doesn't seem to be able to cover adequately for how consistently it happens. I mean, just today, you had Donald Trump completely misremembering that Pete Hegseth was on Fox News this morning when he was not. He has been traveling all day. That is his own defense secretary, who he called in his post his Secretary of War, and showered the guy with praise, despite the fact that, as we'll see, Pete Hegseth wasn't on Fox News. He was kind of on Fox News, right? They played a clip of him for like 10 seconds, but Trump just saw a glimpse of that clip that I'll play for you in a second and thought he was giving an interview. It's really astounding stuff considering the conversation that was being had on both sides about Biden's cognitive decline. And thankfully, Trump was brutally mocked for it. And earlier I said that this is something that the mainstream media doesn't cover very well. And I think you would all agree that they don't. But one person who I think actually does, and does it incredibly well and has my utmost respect, much like Rachel Maddow, they're both on MSNBC, but it's Lawrence O'Donnell. And just yesterday, he said this about Trump.
In your lifetime of listening to presidents being asked questions about policy situations they are actively engaged in every day, you have never once heard a president say, I haven't thought about it. It takes Trumpian stupidity to say something like that. And when you're as stupid as Donald Trump, you have no idea how stupid your stupidity sounds. Donald Trump is trapped in his stupidity. There is no way he can fake sounding smart about anything, not even his lifetime passion and greatest expertise, golf, which he simply lies about.
You said that you were not sure who ordered the munitions halted to Ukraine. Have you since been able to figure that out?
Well, I haven't thought about it because we're looking at Ukraine right now and munitions, but I have not gone into it.
What does it say that such a big decision could be made inside your government without you knowing?
I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay, so you don't know who did it, but you would be the first to know, and it was probably you, but it wasn't you. Thanks for clearing that up.
And believe me, we'll come back to this Ukraine stuff later because the second cognitive thing I want to show you guys is probably even worse. Absolutely brilliantly said. Love Lawrence O'Donnell. And look, folks, we're going to talk about this Fox News situation where Fox inadvertently throws Trump under the bus and makes him kind of expose himself for his cognitive decline. But you let me know with each of these situations whether you think it's more cognitive collapse or stupidity or if it's a mix of both, right? I strongly believe there are arguments for both. And let's start here with what the 79-year-old president said. He posted this morning on Truth Social saying Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was great on Fox News this morning. Fox News, one word, by the way, talking about modern weapons and warfare. Thank you also to Brett Velikovich, who really knows his quote stuff. And the quote is after the okay. We are really on our way, MAGA. Now, first I'm going to show you here what actually played on Fox News, and then we'll show you what the clip that was played was from the video that Pete Hegseth posted, then deleted, then re-uploaded to his Twitter account just on Thursday.
So you got a brand new chapter in unmanned area warfare, how the Pentagon is pushing for drone dominance and keeping the U.S. military ahead of our top rivals today. Watch.
We're going to bolster the U.S. drone manufacturing base by producing thousands of American-made products, prioritizing Buy American.
That's it. That's the whole thing that aired on Fox News. Less than a 10-second clip of this video, which I want to show you for different reasons before we get to Trump's cognitive stuff. Because it does actually get a lot worse than this. I actually don't think this is as big a deal as the next thing that we're going to see, but people latched onto it and reacted online. But okay, so first, here's the video that Hegseth posted.
We know why we were put here. We were brought here to rebuild the military, match capabilities to the threats of today. So while our adversaries have produced millions of cheap drones, before us, we were mired in bureaucratic red tape.
I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's just propaganda. But first of all, why does he walk like a penguin and then do the rapper thing where you're like, yeah, we have the baddest drones. We got the coolest phones. It seems like he's been hanging out with Trump too much, maybe. Maybe that's just me. Small thing to pick on, given everything else going on, I know. But here's where things get kind of hilarious. Hegseth, whose title is still Secretary of Defense, right? I think that's more of a cognitive slip than just, saying he was great. But anyway, despite Trump considering bringing back the other term, did not appear live on Fox News. His official schedule for Friday notes he's traveling. Rather, the right-wing network showed a clip that Hegseth had posted on his official X account the day prior. But here's where I can see the cognitive collapse criticism, nice alliteration there, a little bit more, and then it's going to be immediately followed up by instances from his cabinet meeting. So Fox aired a portion of that clip 4 times from when live programming began at 5 a.m. Friday until Trump's post. Once on Fox and Friends first, twice on Fox and Friends, and once on America's Newsroom at 9:15 a.m. In each instance, the network clearly indicated that the video was from Thursday. So when Trump made his post, it immediately made the rounds online. Zeteo editor-in-chief Mehdi Hassan writing, "Imagine if it was Biden," with emphasis alluding to the Fox's wall-to-wall coverage of the former president's age-related gaffe, to which I would just say, I get that, and I've made that comparison myself, and thankfully y'all in the comments have told me, like, hey, that we don't give a fuck. Like, stop making that comparison. No more what if it was Biden. Like, let's just talk about it is Trump. Let's talk about the fact that it is Trump, and I agree with you on that. Aaron Rupar writing, "Perhaps a confused Trump thought it was live." Totally can see that. And then the Twitter account Republicans Against Trump added critically that the 79-year-old president's cognitive decline is getting harder to ignore. Now, first and foremost, that is entirely true. That is something we have been screaming from the rooftops since before Trump was even on the campaign trail. In fact, some of our highest views videos are Dementia Don, Trump's cognitive collapse. We've been calling this out nonstop, And thank you to all of you who have been supporting the work that we do here and are subscribed and have seen those videos and have been here the whole time. We appreciate the hell out of you, and we wish we could have had a bigger reach back then so more people might have been able to see the warning signs. But even if we take that Fox News instance, right, which is ironic and hilarious because it's Fox News that's making him look, it's himself that's making himself look like his brain is collapsing, but it's on Fox News, okay? Even if we give that the benefit of the doubt and we're like, oh, we're being hyperbolic, we're taking this out of context, we're whatever, right? Even if we say, okay, I'll give you that. Not even 2 days ago, David Pakman made a video about that disaster cabinet meeting, and the whole thing was centered around, wouldn't you guess, Trump's cognitive collapse. Take a look at these instances.
Donald Trump suffering a painful cognitive failure at a cabinet meeting on live television. Clear evidence of presidential cognitive issues that the corporate press is going to ignore because it's either silly Trump or he didn't mean it or he was confused. Trump is asked by a reporter, Ukraine asked the international court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the war. Trump doesn't know what the hell's going on, asks Pete Hegseth very quietly, "Do you know about this?" Hegseth goes, "John might know." And Trump just goes, "I don't know. Can someone tell me what my policy is on this?"
On Ukraine, the Ukrainians have asked the international court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the fight. Germany and Germany and the Netherlands have had intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? Would you agree that that's the case in court?
While the question's asked, Trump knows he doesn't know a damn thing. He leans over and says, "What do we know? What do we know about this? What do we know about this?" And Hegseth is like, "Oh, John might know. John might know."
Want to ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John?
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented and its use, it's illegal. It's against all international laws of armed conflict and treaties. And obviously I can't share in this room with this audience the intelligence that I can share with you privately, but obviously you're not going to stand or allow for any violations of international law by anyone.
Did you understand what just happened there? If this were Biden, it would be a week on Fox News.
Okay. we end up back at the Biden comparison. Okay. I see where you guys are coming from now, okay? Because that's kind of annoying to me as a viewer. But look, I haven't watched David's full video, and I'm sure he gets to this point as well. But what I would focus on more here is, like, that is, first of all, what we saw earlier. He doesn't know shit, about his own administration, about what's going on in the world. But that is also another example of someone coaxing him, right? Someone like helping him along, surely your administration would not, we wouldn't be, we don't like this. Come on, you can say the words, you know? Like, that is tough, right? If it wasn't Donald Trump, like, that would be a trigger warning, because, like, we all have loved ones that we've seen lose their cognition, lose their ability to function in ways. Hell, I know this is going to come off so fucking bad for some of you because I know our audience demographics, but I'm 31 and I can feel my back getting pretty fucked up, you know? I'm just being real with y'all. Come at me in the comments. Believe me, I can take it. But look, let's be honest, our facilities go away as we age, as we do certain things, as we overwork our bodies. And this guy's been eating Big Macs his whole life. Side note, just to bring it back real quick before we wrap this all up, look who's right fucking next to him. Look who he's talking to in this meeting. Pete Hegseth. This is, what, 2 days ago, the 9th? He doesn't know where Hegseth is going over the next two... Actually, what am I talking about? No, of course he fucking doesn't. He doesn't have a clue where he is right now, so why would he know Pete Hegseth's schedule? Oh my God. I take back what I said earlier. It's all his cognition. Well, it's both. It's his cognition and his stupidity. But I would argue that his cognition is becoming more of a problem than his stupidity, because we've known about it. Those of us who aren't as stupid or like a percentile off of his own stupidity, I'm talking about MAGA, we all knew he was stupid from the start and how bad that is. But now we're seeing stupidity mixed with clear cognitive decline, which, you know, as I said earlier, in a normal circumstance, really isn't a laughing matter. It's very sad. But here, it's disastrous and consequential to our national security, as we've seen time and time again. So I guess where I'll end this is, if you would also prefer that Dementia Don be put in a home, and preferably that home, like an elders people home, preferably that home be on Rikers Island or, I don't know, Stockton, whatever that prison is up in, I think it's just Stockton, right? If you think that would be a better, I don't know, place for Trump than the White House, then by all means, drop a like, subscribe, let me know in the comments below, and help support our independent, on-the-ground, you know, journalism and reporting, because us, like David, we were born out of the same situation as David Pakman, this disdain for the mainstream media and the way they treat things like this. I mean, look, I promise to not do the Biden comparison for you guys, because I know it pisses some of you off, rightfully so. I see how that is. But I will say, if the media was owned by left-wing billionaires like George Soros and right-wing conservatives had no free speech in mainstream media or whatever, then why the hell would Jake Tapper be reeling in money and selling a New York Times bestseller? By the way, the New York Times did a absolute smear story on Zohran Mamdani, where they didn't tell their source because their source was a white supremacist. Funny, right? Why the hell would it be the case that right-wing people are being, their free speech is being diminished, and the media is run by lefties and billionaires, if to this day the mainstream media can't call a spade and say that Donald Trump is losing the mind that he never even fucking had? Riddle me that, Batman. Anyway, y'all, if y'all made it this far, I fucking love you guys. I can't wait to read your comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you share it, and I hope we can continue to call this behavior out, because it's fucking ludicrous. But yeah, thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts. I tried to go a little more conversational with this as well. So if you guys enjoyed that, I'd appreciate your feedback. I'm always trying to grow and make better videos for you guys, for myself, for my self-esteem. But yeah, anyway, I'm Kenny Hesse for Really America, and I'll see you guys in the next one.